Tried to go out and do a little leveling. I got to go see if I can find a pin. Hey guys, welcome back to the homestead. We are back after a little hiatus. Not to get into too much detail, but had some job changes going on, and just some family stuff. I wanted to spend time with family, and just kind of this time of year, it's kind of a combination of a bunch of stuff. This time of year where there's not a lot you can do other than like firewood, because the weather's just not conducive to it. It's cold, it's wet, it's rainy, and now of course we're into the springtime, so we're kind of starting to ramp up and get ready to start doing some projects. But I'll show you kind of what spring looks like here. But you can see this is up by the house. This is all nothing but mud, and the driveway is pretty much like this, the whole way. This is probably the worst it's been since we had the driveway done. It's just the frost is sitting in there, the water's got no place to go, and it just sits on the top and just makes everything just nothing but mud. So I'm going to go through and trench a little bit of it, try to get some water drainage, and then we're going to try to see where it's dried out, if we can get the loader going, and try to do some cleanup of some of the ruts where it's dried out already. Some of these other low areas where there's water I'm not going to touch because I want it to dry out. Otherwise I'm just going to create nothing but a muddy mess. But I'm going to go down with the shovel, try to do some of this, and I'll bring you along a little bit with some of it, and we'll bring you along when we get the loader going. I'm about halfway down. I've actually made it down and back. I didn't film anything down there. But you can see the water just sitting in the ruts. I mean, this section here, kind of, right in here, used to be our worst spot. It's actually drying out fairly well. It's just gonna take time, and we just keep getting snow, a couple inches of snow here and there, and it just gets muddy. But yeah, I mean, if this is typically our worst section, this stretch here, before you get down to the water, I swear there's a spring underneath here that just makes it soft. I mean, I'm just squishing walking on this, and it's good soil. I mean, when it's dried out, it's hard as a rock. I can hardly scrape it with the bucket. But you can see here how it's just kind of wet and rutted. I mean, this section we normally didn't have problems with, and this year it's been really wet and bad. And this is the start of where, well, you can see the water kind of right in there, but it's just going to take time. We got to dry it out. So I'm just trying to right now, trying to trench it out. I mean, look at my foot sinking. I mean, it's hit or miss. You take one step and it's nice and solid. You take another step and it's squishy. I mean, right here it's fairly solid, but it's rutted now. So I don't know what Shadow's after. Come on, Shadow. Come on. You stay on the driveway. They're both out. Copper's up there somewhere. He's up the driveway farther. But I mean, it's just going to take time, like I said. So we're going to work on it some more, and I'm going to bring you along with. But that's going to be it for today. I just need to dry out so I can start back dragging it and trying to grade it all back out again. But it's wet, so it's just got to dry out. I can't do much with it. Eventually we'll get some gravel in, hopefully this year. If we can afford it, I'm going to get some gravel brought in and try to start building a gravel base that'll help with this. And we'll just build our way from the bottom up, start down. We'll start down there again and get that built up. And I mean, some of that water is just, we don't have a good crown, so I got to bring some more soil down there that's nice and packable, some good build up, class 5, and build it up so it's got a little bit more of a crown to the one side. We're going to kind of do what they call a logger's crown, which your typical crown, road crown, crowns in the middle and then goes off both sides. We get down to the driveway down the end down there where it narrows, we want everything to go to the left. So we'll do a logger's crown, which means one side is high and the other side is sloped down. Nothing real major, just enough to get the water to drain across rather than sit like it is right now, because it's got a regular crown in it, so it's raised in the middle and the outside edges are shallow, so it just doesn't have any place for the water to go until the culvert opens up. And the culvert's all full of ice right now, so it ain't gonna go anywhere. But yeah, you can see here it's starting. I mean, even up here, this normally was dry. We normally didn't have a problem with it. This actually here, this whole section here, you can see, it's hard to kind of see on the camera, I suppose. I'm out of shape. I shouldn't be winded this much. I need to get some more exercise. Been sitting in the house too much this winter. But yeah, see, this is real muddy. But I got it draining, so that'll help once I get the water off of it. You know, you can see here where I kind of did a little bit of a drainage just to get it off to the side. You know, with the snow banks here still, those haven't melted. You know, and here we're already coming up almost the middle of April. We're in the second week of April, and we still got plenty of snow on the ground. I mean, you can see under even in the trees. There's still 6-8 inches of snow. I mean, our last snowfall was a foot of heavy wet snow, and we plowed, and most of that's melted away. But it's just, I think that's been it. It's just been a warmer, you know, we get wet snow, rain mix, and then it just turns into mud because it doesn't stay cold enough. It keeps freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing. So this soil is just full. This driveway, the road is just full of moisture, as you can see. I mean, as we get up to the house, it's just full of water. I mean, this section here normally, I mean, it's hard to see the depth of the ruts, but this rut right here where the water's sitting, that's probably 6-8 inches deep. You know, and normally we didn't have a problem. And when you can see here, I mean, when I walked out, I'm just sinking through here. I mean, this is just mucky, so you get a good run. Come up with the vehicles, you get a good running start. I'm gonna go off onto the snow here. But this was full of water. I got a lot of that drained out. Sorry, the dogs are playing. That's Copper's version of playing. He doesn't know how to just growl and make noise. He's got to bark at everything. Get him, Copper. All right, you two. Are you done? Are you done? Are you done? No. But you can see here where there's sediment already in here. I did this when I walked down. I trenched this out a little bit to get some water flowing, and that'll help. I'm going to do it here again in a little bit, but yeah. So I'll keep you with us as we get this done. Hopefully over the next few days we'll get this dried out and graded, and we'll kind of go from there. as you saw, tried to go out and do a little leveling. I got to go see if I can find a pin. I'll flip the camera around and show you. I don't know if you noticed, but we lost that pin. And I don't see it anywhere in the bucket or in the arm here. So I'm going to have to order a new one. So we are out of commission until that comes in. So that's a bummer. But it is what it is. I mean, that's the fun of this stuff. I just checked them. I greased them. And it was needing to be replaced anyways. The pin that I'm missing right now was getting a little loose, and I was planning on replacing it, but it don't know where it went. So I'm going to go look in the mud and see if I see it. I'm guessing I'm not going to find it unless I got a metal detector. So that's going to be it for now. And I'll bring you guys back once we get a pin in here. Morning, guys. It is another day on the homestead here. And it's been a few weeks since I started this video. Loader was out of commission here. We had a major hydraulic leak and the alternator went out. Or I was having problems with the alternator while I troubleshooting and I ended up breaking it. So it was bad to begin with, but I broke the tab off of one of the ears. So it needed to be replaced anyways. So that's back up and running, but you can see things have dried out. Things have greened up. And now that the loader's done, I'm going to try to fix. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see here, there's some holes here that need to be filled in and scraped. And the driveway's in pretty rough shape. I mean, after being so muddy, but now that it's dry, we'll see what we can do. I'll film as much as I can. And here we go. Well, guys, I was busy with the loader and had the phone in the cab with me, and I thought, well, it's recording. And wasn't paying much attention, and guess what? It didn't record. But I'll flip the camera around and show you where it get done. So there's still quite a bit of, I got some rocks and stuff to pick up. They came to the surface, but this is a combination of going forward with the bucket, picking up stuff, and then back dragging to kind of drag and smooth and level. Really what I need is, what would be great is if I had a greater, attachment for the front of the loader. That would be ideal, because then I could actually get a good crown. You can see there is somewhat a crown. Although it's sloped more. When the contractor I had that originally opened up the driveway for us, was just a 2-track driveway when we started. From those, it went back, and if you look at our original videos, some of the still pictures, there wasn't much of a driveway. It was just basically 2 tire tracks. Yeah, it's getting worse. And the flowing river going down the right-hand side.
That's why I tried to stay over here so it would continue to flow.
I ran into it just so it keeps it dredged out.
That's what I was doing. I was following it so it would just keep going, but it starts to stop. Once you get up here, it doesn't go anymore. This is really, I've been going around because it's so bad with straight ahead.
And that's our wonderful driveway. But the contractor we had come in, he didn't do a traditional crown. He did what they call a logger's crown. So it slopes from one side down to the other. So you can see, like here, it's high on this side and then slopes down. But, it's gets rutted every year. We really need gravel is what we need. But there again, that all takes money. But this is much improvement from what it has. We still got some work to do down on the very end. Where the culvert is, we found out this spring that the culvert really isn't in the right place. We thought it was, but it's not. It just needs to be down farther. It's so wet that the right side as you're going down, you'll see, I'm going to walk down there a little bit. But the right side as you get down there doesn't drain. It stays wet, and then in the spring with the snow melt, it just floods that end of the driveway. And this is actually, this was probably the worst and muddiest it's ever been down there. It gets wet and there were water, but it was solid ground. But we'd made those changes, and it just wasn't the right decision, and it's lessons learned. But yeah, we're got fairly smooth, good driveway. I'm real happy. Loader's running great. It's been one of those things that it's one thing or another, but leveled off some high spots because it's kind of some dips. You can kind of see there's some here. There's like a low spot there and then another low spot right there. And those were a lot worse. I mean, you come down, poor Jody with her Jeep. It was like, loop-de-loos, a roller coaster ride in her poor Jeep. It was such a short wheelbase that it hits it just right and just bounces the thing. But, there's a couple areas that are still really wet. I mean, we have a spring, and actually, normally, like this drainage, I have drainage ditch here that drains into this. So basically goes from right here along, drains into there. So all the sediment and, kind of cleans the water up. And then you can kind of see there's a trench right there where it comes out. So when that fills up and overflows, it comes into here, and you can kind of see where it's washed out. This is where we get when we get heavy rains and stuff like that, it kind of goes into this ravine, and that's fine. That's what we want. But as you'll see as we get down here, there's actually another spot here that you can see where there's standing water right here. And there is a spring in the ground, natural spring underneath here somewhere. It comes out right in here and just basically kind of stays wet all year round until we get really dry. But you can see I tried to clean it up a little bit, but there's so much in there. But like right here where she's standing water, that was, as soon as I put any pressure on it, started coming up. So there's water underneath here that just isn't draining. And hopefully if we get this drainage ditch cleaned up a little bit more, when it dries out, I'll come down and clean up some more of it and get it dug out more. And then I got another, that drainage runoff goes in, and it does a really good job. I mean, you can see here where I purposely left this tree sit here, and you can see the sediment here, sediment there, and that's just, I mean, it's stagnant water. But then it comes into here, it comes running down on that side, comes out this side. I left this tree here. Look at all the debris that's sitting right here, and then that just continues on. But the weird thing, or actually it's not weird, it's real common up here, is it'll actually go down and then disappear. And I'll see if I can find where that kind of comes through here, runs, and then right about here, it starts to disappear. The water will go, especially down here where I dug a little bit of a trench here, you can see, but it gets right to here and it disappears. There is no water from here all the way down. So it's underground and it gets into these rocks. And then it starts to crop up right in here with these rocks. It starts to come back out right here, and then it stays wet. But this is kind of where I was talking about, is just this side did have drainage before. It had a little bit of a drainage ditch, and we took that out. And it's just really super wet. Everything from this side over here runs across the driveway. So Well, guys, that's going to be it for this video on the loader. Like I said, it's probably months apart. I started and stopped, and yeah, so the driveway's good. Now we just got to save up some money, and hopefully in the near future here we can get some gravel in here, and that'll help clean this up. So, but I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.